Time is ticking for the Miami Dolphins due to Tua's rookie contract expiring. He's currently set to play on his fifth-year option in 2024. They both want to get a deal done, which makes sense. Tua has definitely been successful since McDaniel has come along and held it down. But I just have a question for everyone out there. Would you really give Tua, one, a long-term contract, and two, a lot of money? We're 2 years removed from Tua literally having a seizure on national television. You know, those 3 concussions in 1 year, that was really, really serious business. And I thought that was dope how in the off-season he took jiu-jitsu, I believe, so he learned how to fall properly, and fair play to him. That really worked out for him this past year. No concussions. But that's 1 year, and for him to suffer even just another concussion, I think that'd be pretty scary. pretty scary. There was a lot of retirement talk that 1 year when he did suffer all those concussions, and I thought they were very valid. Point being, I'd say he's pretty injury prone. Hypothetically, if he goes the next 2 years without suffering any injuries, I think you could take that label off of him. But until that happens, I think he's still definitely injury prone. So if you're the Dolphins, would you really give Tua guaranteed money and sign him for the long term as your franchise quarterback? If I were the Dolphins GM, I know it's a tricky situation, and sometimes in life and sometimes in ball, sometimes in business, the tough choice is the right choice. I'm not saying you cut Tua. I'm not saying you trade him for, a second round pick, a late first. I'm saying you let him play on this 50-year option right now, but with your 2024 first round pick, you draft a guy like J.J. McCarthy, you draft a guy like Michael Penix. Just visualize that for a second. Michael Penix's arm in this offense. Michael Penix and Tyreek Hill. Done. That's the argument right there. That's the winner right there. Are you kidding me? I know Tua's accurate. I know he has his moments, but he really doesn't have that strong of an arm. There's been moments where, he's definitely underthrown Tyreek, and those were trending moments. The previous year, Tyreek actually had to defend his quarterback a few times on Twitter. Fair play to him. He's a good teammate. But what I'm saying is, just with Mike McDaniel's offense, to add someone that actually has a rocket arm, I just think it would be deadly. With him, Waddle, Tyreek, I just think it would be great. Plus, not only that, you reset the timeline for the quarterback, so you have that extra 4 years until you have to pay him. I just think that's a really smart business move. And I know the counter to that for a lot of people who wouldn't want Penix are saying, yeah, but he's injury prone too. Well, the thing about Penix is he hasn't been injured in 2 years. And I just think his injuries are a lot less lethal compared to Tua and his head injuries. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have a bum knee for a month, or a bad ankle, or some broken ribs than 3 concussions in 3 weeks. But that's just me. If the Miami Dolphins do pay Tua, he would likely get a 4-year extension worth $220 million with $105 million guaranteed at the time of the signing. Pretty crazy numbers right there, and that's just due to the quarterback market, and that's just how it is. And that's what I mean. Do you really think Tua was worth that much? I know it's not that long ago. We're about 2 months out from the playoff game in Kansas City. Fair play. It was the coldest game ever, but he had a noodle arm that game. They didn't have a chance in hell to win that game. Tua was throwing ducks. Like, there was nothing on those balls, bro. Like, come on. Like, how do you expect to even make it to the AFC Championship when your quarterback is throwing balls like that? When you got Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and you think you could make it to the AFC Championship game when your quarterback looks like that in the playoffs? Are you kidding me? Like, come on, man. I don't see it. I like Tua. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's a good quarterback, man. But to pay him that type of money, I don't see it, man. I really, really don't see it. If he wasn't injury prone, okay. Maybe. But he is injury prone. He does have a noodle arm. He does play in the most competitive conference in the NFL right now. I'm just stating facts, man. It's just bad business to give Tua that sort of contract. And it's not totally his fault. It's the market's fault. You gotta play to the market sometimes. It is what it is. It's not fair, but let's say they do pay Tua. And let's say it doesn't work out. Well, look what happened to the Broncos this past year. They gave Russell the gigantic contract 2 years ago, and they're about to cut his ass, and they're going to be in kind of dire situations with the salary cap. They're still going to be paying him millions and millions and millions of dollars for the next 2 years because of how bad that contract was. I just think the Dolphins are too talented to mess this up. If they were some scrub-ass team, like, and all they had was Tua, okay, fine. You gotta do what you gotta do, from a business perspective, stay competitive, rake in that money, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, your intentions aren't to win a Super Bowl, just to win money. But you have Tyreek, you have Mike McDaniel, you have a great run game, you have two great running backs, you have Jalen Waddle, the defense. That defense was good last year. They got just nicked up with a ton of injuries, but this Dolphins team has a ton of potential. I know there was a narrative last year of them being frauds and them only beating on bad teams. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting argument. I thought it was kind of fair, but at the same time, it's the NFL. Every game is competitive. Every team is good. Everyone wants it every single week. Every game matters. So I don't know if I totally agreed with that argument, but point is, the Dolphins are close. They're close to doing something, and in my lifetime, the only time I've ever seen the Dolphins great or kind of great is when it was 2008, Ricky Williams, Ronnie Brown, I believe, running the Wildcat, and I think they beat the Ravens in that one wildcard game. Shout out to anyone who remembers that. But that's the only time I've seen them. Like, I wasn't around for the Dan Marino era. And I think this Tua era, this Mike McDaniel era, it's great. I think it's awesome, but you're really going to plateau yourself if you pay Tua that contract. You cannot pay Tua that contract, sign someone else, draft a guy, please. I like watching the Dolphins. I like Tyreek. I don't know how many years he has left, but keep it going. I want to see somebody compete with the Chiefs. I want to see. That was a waste of everyone's time. That wild card game was a waste of everyone's time. Waste of Peacock's time. I'm sure they were pretty pissed at the final product because that game was not great. But Dolphins fans, what do you think they should do? Should they pay Tua? Should they draft someone? Do you believe in Tua? How do you feel about this upcoming year? Let me know. I'm curious. That's all I got right now. Peace.